Naomi woke up before the cock even cleared its throat. No alarm, no knock. Just her body jerking up like it had heard the voice of hardship calling from outside. The house was still dark and quiet, the kind of quiet that told you peace did not live here. She dragged her small wrapper over her shoulders, stepped onto the cold, cracked floor, and picked up the broom by the corner. It had lost half its sticks, just like she had lost half her joy. She swept the compound slowly. Dust swirled into the air like yesterday's pain. Naomi didn't mind. Her 10-year-old body was already used to this routine. Before light, before breakfast, before anyone called her name. And even when they called, it was never with love. By the time the morning sun started stretching its lazy fingers across the sky, Naomi had already swept, fetched water from the stream, and arranged the firewood for breakfast. Inside the kitchen, her stepmother, Amaka, stood over the boiling pot like an angry judge. She opened the pot of stew, sniffed once, and shouted, "Who cooked this rubbish?" Naomi stood silently by the door, hands clasped. "Me, Ma," Amaka scoffed. "This thing that looks like blood from a wounded goat? You call it stew?" She dipped her spoon into it, tasted it, and made a sound like she had licked engine oil. "You want to kill us in this house, Abi? You think I don't know you're a witch? You want me and your father to die the way your so-called mother died, right? It won't work." Before Naomi could even blink, Amaka flung the entire pot out the kitchen window. The pot hit the wall, bounced, and landed upside down like its destiny had ended. Naomi just stood there, her lips pressed shut. Her stomach grumbled, but she didn't move. She was used to it. "Now go and kneel down under that sun, and if I hear peep from you, I will peel your back like yam." As Naomi turned to leave, Lillian, Amaka's daughter, walked in, wearing her school uniform and chewing gum like a town girl. She looked Naomi up and down and laughed. "You still haven't died? Wow. Even death is rejecting you." Then just for fun, she threw her school sandal at Naomi's chest. It hit her. Naomi picked it up without a word and kept moving. Later that evening, Naomi sat on the cold floor of her tiny corner room. She brought out her most prized possession, a faded photograph of a smiling woman, her father, and a little girl between them. Her mother, the only face that ever looked at her with love. She hugged the photo tight and whispered, "Mama, why didn't you take me with you?" The next day, Naomi almost fainted while returning from the stream. Her head spun, her knees buckled, but she made it home, only to be greeted with more fire. "You this devil's handbag!" Amaka screamed. "Why are you walking like you're carrying a coffin on your back? You're a disgrace." Naomi's mouth opened slightly. "I'm sorry, Ma." "Don't ma me. I'm tired of pretending. You're not my child. In fact, you're not even my husband's child." Naomi blinked. "Ma?" Amaka dropped the bomb with pride. "Yes, they picked you from the forest, like goat. Your so-called mother was barren. One day she saw you lying near a tree and said, 'God has given me a child.' My husband told the barren lizard you called your mother, 'Leave that thing though.' But no, she didn't listen. She brought you home. Now she's dead. Maybe your witchcraft finally worked." Naomi didn't feel her knees give way. She didn't even feel the floor when she hit it. The words swam around her head like flies. Picked. Forest. Not your child. Witch. That night she gathered courage and approached her father. He was peeling groundnuts outside. "Daddy," she said, voice shaking. "Is it true?" He didn't even raise his head. "Is what true?" "That I was picked. That Mama wasn't my real mother?" He looked at her then, with eyes so cold she flinched. "Yes, we picked you. She insisted on bringing you. I told her it would end in tears, and now she's gone. And you're still here." Naomi opened her mouth. No words came out. "You were never ours, just a thing we found. Be grateful we let you stay this long." She stood there, frozen, then turned slowly, walked back to her room, and lay on the floor. No tears, just emptiness. A few days later, Naomi returned from the market, carrying a torn black nylon filled with vegetables, ogbono, and pepper. As she stepped into the compound, something new caught her eye. A black SUV, parked confidently like it owned the soil. Two strangers were standing beside it, A tall woman in designer heels, big sunglasses, and a permanent frown on her face. Beside her, a man tapping his wristwatch impatiently. Naomi tried to sneak past quietly. "Naomi," her father called. She stopped. "Sir? Go and pack your things. You're leaving with them. From today, you no longer live here." Her heart jumped. "Sir, please, I don't understand. You're going to the city to work for them. They've paid. Don't come back here." Naomi's hands shook. "Please, Daddy, don't send me away. I will behave. I will do better. Please." Felix turned his face away like she was air. From the other corner, Amaka smiled like someone who just won a bet. "You better pack fast before I pack you myself," the rich woman hissed. "What is all this drama? We've already paid for her services. If she doesn't want to go, we'll go." Lillian waved from the side, grinning. "Bye-bye, witch. Bye, dustbin girl." Naomi, with her chest aching, turned slowly and walked into her room. She picked her faded photo, her mother's smile still as kind as ever, and folded her 2 skirts, 1 top, and her church scarf into a small Ghana must-go bag. Then she walked out, her head low. She didn't look back. Nobody called her. Nobody hugged her. The SUV door slammed. The engine came on. And just like that, the girl they called a witch was driven away like a forgotten broomstick. The journey felt like punishment with tinted windows. Naomi sat quietly at the edge of the back seat, hugging her small bag to her chest like it was her last shield. Her eyes were wide. She had never been in a car before, let alone a moving one with cold AC that blasted like Harmattan wind. She didn't even know where to rest her legs. She felt like one of those Jollof rice coolers that people carry to parties. Just there, packed and silent. The man and woman in the front didn't say a word. Not to her, not to each other. The only sound in the car was the tires slicing through tar, and once in a while, the woman's long, polished nails tapping her phone. Naomi stared out the window, and what she saw almost made her forget her sorrow. Tall buildings like trees that reached heaven. Traffic lights blinking in red, yellow, green like Christmas decorations. Cars that moved like colored fishes. Wide roads that never ended. Signboards, billboards, supermarkets with glass doors. Men in suits walking fast like they were being chased by destiny. Her mouth was slightly open, not because she was smiling. No, there was no joy. But her heart whispered, "So this is the city." She had only seen it in pictures, in those torn calendars that used to hang in her late mother's room. But now she was here, in the land of electric wires and no pit toilets. Yet she wasn't here as a visitor or a tourist. She was here as property. After almost 3 hours, the car turned into a quiet, gated estate. Everything looked like magazine pages. Lawns trimmed like they were combed. Flowers shaped like love. Houses that looked like banks. They drove into one compound. Naomi's heart started beating double. The mansion was massive, like a hotel for presidents. The floors were tiled like mirror. The compound was wide enough to host her entire village. Naomi quietly stepped out of the SUV, her slippers sounding too loud on the neat floor. The woman turned. "Carry your bag." Naomi obeyed. The man opened the giant front door and they entered. The air inside the house was cool and smelt like money. Chandeliers hung from the ceiling like golden ice. The sofas looked untouched. The floor? You could eat off it. Naomi didn't even know where to look. Everything was beautiful and cold, like a rich person's heart. The woman turned sharply. "Look at me." Naomi quickly faced her. "From today, you live here. You will take care of my husband's mother. She's sick. You will bathe her, feed her, clean her up, give her her medicine. No complaints, no noise." She took a step closer, her voice dropping but sharper than blade. "If you misbehave, I will beat you like a stubborn goat. If anything goes missing, I will lock you in the store with rats. Don't talk to anyone. Don't ask questions. Don't even breathe too loud. And don't touch what you're not sent to touch." She snapped her fingers. "You'll be fed twice a day. You're not here to enjoy. Just work. Am I clear?" Naomi nodded quickly. "Yes, Ma." "Good." She clapped once, and a maid came in. Tall, lean, wearing an oversized uniform. "Take her to the back." The maid said nothing. She just gestured with her head and started walking. Naomi followed. They walked through a narrow corridor, past the big kitchen, down a small hallway behind the main house. Finally, the maid opened a door. "This is your room," she said without looking back. Naomi stepped inside. The room was small, one iron bed with a thin mattress, a short wooden table, a mirror that had a crack down the middle, and one tiny window. But to Naomi, it was heaven. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Thank you, God." At least she had a room, a bed, a window. In the village, she slept beside rats and lizards. Here, she could hear the hum of AC, even if it wasn't for her. That night, she didn't eat, not because they didn't give her food, but because her mind was too full. She sat on the bed, placed her mother's photo by the window, and spoke to it softly. "Mama, see where I am. Big house, big wahala, but I'll survive." By 4 a.m., Naomi was already awake. Her body was used to early pain. She quickly washed up and tied her wrapper. She didn't even wait for instructions. She stepped out quietly and walked back through the hallway, passing the kitchen. Everything was still quiet, but she knew what she had to do. She found the door she was told about, the room of the sick grandmother. She knocked softly. No answer. She pushed it open and paused. The smell hit her first, heavy, damp, like sadness and unwashed skin. The curtains were shut. The room was dark. It didn't smell like death, but it smelled like someone that life had forgotten. Naomi stepped in, slowly. On the big bed, surrounded by untouched pills and dry tissues, was an old woman. Gloria. Her body was stiff, her arms thin, and her face, half sunk into the pillow, looked tired of breathing. Naomi didn't panic. She walked to the window, drew the curtains open, and let sunlight flood the room. Then she turned, walked to the woman's side, knelt beside her, and whispered, "Good morning, Mama." The woman's eyelids flickered. She didn't move, but her eyes opened slowly. Naomi smiled. "You're so beautiful. Don't worry, Mama. I'll take care of you." She walked to the basin, fetched water, took a fresh cloth, and began cleaning her body, slowly, carefully, like the woman was made of glass. She hummed as she worked, a soft song her late mother used to sing when cooking. Then she added a little talk. "Don't worry, Mama. This place will smell nice today. We will clean away all these wahala. I will even rub powder for you. They must see fine girl." As Naomi worked, she made small jokes, singing small songs, dancing slightly as she wiped the floor. Her stomach growled, but she kept cleaning. "And Mama Gloria?" She blinked again. Her lips didn't move, but her eyes were wide open now, focused, alive. The room didn't feel like a grave anymore. It felt like something had entered, something small and full of light. Hope had arrived in a girl they once called a witch. Before Mama Gloria became the shadow of herself, the eyesore they now hid at the back of the mansion. She was once the great and powerful matriarch of the family. They called her Madam G. Sharp, fierce, smart, fearless. She didn't just own companies. She built them from scratch with her bare hands and hot brain. Her name opened doors in boardrooms. Her signature sealed international contracts. One phone call from her could shake a man's career, and she did it all with elegance, in her gold earrings and block heels. She had 2 sons. The first, Daniel, was everything a mother could dream of. Responsible, kind, disciplined, humble. The apple of her eye, her right hand, her heir. He was married to a soft-spoken woman named Clara, and they had a sweet little daughter, the family's precious jewel. The second son, Henry, was the opposite. Wild, reckless, arrogant, easily swayed by bad women and bad decisions. Still, Mama loved both boys. So to maintain peace and balance, she did something legendary. She built 2 different companies and gave one each to her sons. "Let both of you grow your own empires," she had said. And Daniel did just that. He nurtured his company with sweat and wisdom. He turned it into a roaring success. Mama was proud. Her legacy was secure, until the tragedy. Daniel and Clara left for a business trip one rainy morning with their daughter sleeping soundly at the backseat of their car, and never returned. A fatal accident. The car tumbled into a valley. They died on the spot. But what broke Mama completely was the missing child, her granddaughter. Their daughter was never found. People said the crash was too bad, the fire too hot. Some said she escaped and was kidnapped. Others whispered darker things. But Mama refused to believe her granddaughter was gone. She searched for years, hired investigators, paid anyone who claimed they saw a child with curly hair and kind eyes. But nothing ever came back. One morning during a heated board meeting, Mama collapsed. The doctors said it was a stroke, likely from stress and heartbreak. She could no longer walk, barely speak, and slowly slipped into a comatose state. That's when Henry and his Jezebel of a wife, Vanessa, saw their chance. Like vultures, they pounced. They bribed board members, faked signatures, and claimed that since Mama was no longer of sound mind, Henry should be declared CEO over Daniel's company. Imagine his dead brother's empire. They moved into the mansion like owners, took over the staff, changed security, erased Mama's influence, changed furniture, threw out her clothes, and most painfully, they locked her in a guest room at the far end of the house like a burden. Nobody visited her. Nobody checked if she ate or if she cried. Gloria, once the queen of the empire, was left to rot, silenced by stroke and surrounded by betrayal. Until the day a 10-year-old girl named Naomi entered her room, opened the curtains, smiled at her, and called her beautiful. And in that moment, Mama Gloria blinked, because deep in her soul, something whispered, "She has come, my light has returned." And she whispered to herself, "I won't die here like a chicken. I must live. I must outlive all my enemies." Naomi didn't know what God was planning for her when she stepped into Mama's room that first morning. All she knew was that this woman, this wrinkled, fragile stranger lying quietly on a bed, needed her. And so every morning before the maids started their gossip and movement, Naomi would quietly sneak into Mama's room with a bowl of warm water, a towel, and her smile. She would open the window gently, let in the sunlight, and whisper, "Good morning, Mama. You're still beautiful this morning. Let's clean up small so your enemies don't say you're smelling." And Mama would blink, just once. But every day the blink became faster, stronger, more deliberate. Naomi would clean her gently, rub her hands, wipe her face, feed her with pap or soft yam, give her her medicine. The maids didn't care. The housekeepers didn't care. Even the cook would drop Mama's food outside her door like she was a stray goat. But Naomi cared. She began to talk while cleaning. She told Mama stories of the village, how she used to climb mango trees and fight boys that insulted her mother. She described the small school she once attended before her life fell apart. She even mimicked her stepmother's voice with her hands on her hips. "Naomi, come and wash my toenails before I count to 2.5. One day while adjusting Mama's pillow, Naomi looked at her carefully and said, "Mama, I know you were very fine when you were young." Mama blinked twice. No, not just fine. Like hot." Naomi giggled. "Like Lagos hot girl." Then Mama did something that made Naomi freeze. She chuckled. A raspy, dry sound escaped her lips, but it was unmistakable. A laugh. Naomi gasped. "Mama, you laughed! Ain, I will frame this day." Mama in a dry voice whispered, "I wasn't just hot, I was fire." Naomi's mouth dropped open. "I had hot legs," Mama said, her voice breaking like engine oil. "When I passed, men used to forget their addresses. Ask your grandfather. He crashed his car the first day he saw me." Naomi screamed with laughter, holding her chest. "Mama teach me nah. I want to have hot legs too." Mama smiled weakly. "Hot legs come with hot brain. You can't be fine and foolish." Then she pointed toward the drawer. "Bring me the newspaper. Let me read today's headlines before these politicians sell this country to Cameroon." Naomi jumped up and got it. She sat beside Mom and opened the newspaper. "Mama, what's this word?" "Which one?" Eco, no me." Mama rolled her eyes. "Economy, say it." "Economy." Again. "Economy." Now say inflation. Shion. God in heaven, Mama muttered. "What did they teach you in that your village school? Come here." So from that bed, half paralyzed and weak, Mama began teaching Naomi. She pointed to words. Naomi repeated them. When she failed, Mama flicked her forehead gently. They laughed, they talked, they bonded. But what they didn't know was that the whole house could hear them. That evening, Vanessa came home and paused at the hallway. From Mama's room came the sound of laughter, loud, honest laughter, followed by playful shouting, "Inflation is not infection, Naomi. You this coconut head." "Mama, nah, I'm trying." "You're trying to kill grammar." Vanessa's brows furrowed. She stood still for a long moment, then hissed. "This woman is getting better, ooh, and I can't allow that. She was supposed to be dead by now. What's this one?" She stormed into the kitchen and summoned the maid. "From tonight, nobody must enter that room again. No food, no water, no help. Let her stay weak and quiet, and lock the door. I said lock it." "Yes, Ma." As the maid left, Henry came downstairs with a cup of juice. Vanessa turned to him. "Your mother is recovering." He blinked. "Really?" "She's even laughing, talking, correcting grammar. That small maid girl is reviving her." Henry shifted uncomfortably. "So, what do we do?" Vanessa stared at him. "Nothing. Just close your mouth. Let me handle it." And as usual, he said nothing. That night, Naomi came with her bowl of warm water and a slice of bread, but the door to Mama's room was locked. She knocked softly. No response. She tried again. Still locked. She ran to the kitchen. The tray of food was gone. Mama hadn't been fed. Naomi's heart began to beat fast. She paced the hallway. Nobody was looking. Then her eyes drifted outside, to the flower bed at the back of the mansion, the gardener's ladder. She quickly tiptoed out, dragged it to the side of the house, and positioned it beneath Mama's window. She looked around. The coast was clear. She tied the food in her wrapper, held it close, and climbed. One hand, then another. The ladder shook a little. Her wrapper caught on a nail. She hissed quietly, "Naomi the climber, don't disgrace your ancestors." When she reached the window, she tapped gently. Mama turned her head. Her eyes widened. Naomi pushed the window and slid inside like a cat. Mama stared in shock. "Naomi, are you mad? What if you fall and break your chewy stick legs and join me on this bed?" Naomi grinned. "Mama, don't worry. I'm a professional. They used to call me Naomi the climber in my village. Mango tree, cashew, neighbor's guava. I can climb all." Mama shook her head, laughing through her shock. "You are not normal." Naomi quickly fed her, cleaned her, gave her her medicine, made her laugh again. Then she kissed her forehead and whispered, "I'll be back tomorrow. Just wait for me, Mama." And just like that, she climbed down, hid the ladder again, and tiptoed back to her tiny room like a thief of mercy. The next few days, Naomi repeated the process. Mama was growing stronger. She could now sit up on her own, laugh out loud, and even try to clap when Naomi pronounced a word right. Their bond grew like fire. Until one day, Vanessa summoned Naomi. "You, come here." Naomi came forward. "Go and clean up that old room upstairs, the one that belonged to her." Naomi blinked. "Ma? You heard me. Daniel's daughter. That girl that got missing. Clear it. I don't want to see anything that reminds me of dead people." Naomi nodded and walked quietly upstairs. She entered the room. It smelt of dust and silence. The curtains were drawn. The furniture was untouched. As she started clearing the wardrobe, removing old baby clothes and small sandals, her hand brushed a photo album. She opened it. And then everything stopped. Because on the first page was a picture of a little girl. A girl with curly hair, a dimple, brown eyes. A girl who looked exactly like Naomi. Her knees buckled. She slowly reached for the photo she kept in her wrapper, the one from the village, with her and her adopted parents. She placed them side by side. Same child, same face, same smile. She stared at it for minutes, confused, shaking. Could it be? That night she didn't sleep. She hid the photo under her pillow. Her heart wouldn't stop beating. The next morning, after her usual ladder mission, she sat beside Mama and whispered, "Mama, there's something I want to show you." Mama turned slowly. Naomi pulled out both photographs and placed them on the bed. Mama looked at one, then the other, then at Naomi. Her fingers trembled. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Mama, it's me, isn't it? I'm her. Mama gasped softly. There were no twins. I was there. I was the first to hold her. Tears streamed down her face. Then suddenly she turned. Naomi, go to the living room. Bring the landline phone. Hide it under your wrapper. Bring it to me. Quietly. Naomi obeyed. Mama dialed the number by heart. It rang. Then a deep voice answered. Hello? Mama's voice shook. Sam, it's me. Silence. Then, Madam G? Yes, it's time. We have been asleep too long. Call the doctor. Bring the kit. I need a DNA test. Now. The next day, just after 9 a.m., the mansion was unusually quiet. Henry and Vanessa had gone to the office. The maids were in the kitchen grumbling over yam porridge. Naomi had just finished changing Mama's wrapper when Mama turned to her and whispered, Go and open the gate. Let them in quietly. And don't let anybody see you. Naomi blinked. Mama, who? Just go. 2 men are coming. One is Sam, my PA. The other is a doctor. Bring them straight to my room. Naomi didn't argue. She tiptoed through the backyard, unlocked the gate, and waved the 2 men in. Sam, a soft-spoken older man in native wear, and the doctor, a younger man in black shirt carrying a briefcase, both greeted her with a nod. They walked in silently. Inside Mama's room, the air felt different, like a secret was about to wake up. Mama G, Sam bowed respectfully. It's good to see your eyes shining again. Thank you, Sam. No time to waste. Let's do it. Naomi watched silently as the doctor opened his bag and brought out a DNA test kit. Swabs, gloves, sealed tubes. Mama turned to Naomi and smiled faintly. My baby, I just want to check something. Don't be afraid. Open your mouth, Naomi obeyed. The doctor took the samples. Then he took Mama's. Naomi's heart was beating, but she didn't even know why. She had never seen Mama so serious. The PA and doctor left quickly without saying much. The room went quiet again. Naomi turned to Mama. Mama, what are we checking? Mama smiled. Don't worry, I just want to confirm what my spirit already knows. 3 days later, it was a sunny afternoon. Naomi was plaiting Mama's hair while reading news headlines slowly. Mama, inflation. Yes, inflation has... The landline rang. Mama reached for it like a hawk and picked up quickly. She didn't say anything for the first 5 seconds. Then she whispered, Are you sure? A pause, then the reply. Confirmed. 99.9%. She's your granddaughter. Mama dropped the phone slowly, turned her neck stiffly toward Naomi, and stared for a long moment. Then, without a word, she threw off the wrapper, planted her legs on the floor, and stood up like thunder. Naomi screamed, dropping the comb. Mama! Mama raised one brow. Calm down. I've been acting for too long. Today the masquerade removes her mask. Naomi's mouth was hanging. You can walk? Since last year, but you don't fight demons when they're watching you. You let them relax. Then when they least expect it, you drag them out by the ears. I've been playing this game since 1989. Now watch and learn. She picked up her phone. Time to finish what they started. 5 minutes later, the mansion shook with tension. A fleet of black vehicles pulled into the compound. 4 fierce security men in black marched in with straight faces. Mama, now fully dressed in her royal old clothes, pointed toward the kitchen. That maid with scattered wig. Throw her out. Madam, the maid cried. Please, I didn't know you were alive. You were laughing when they starved me. Out. Naomi watched from behind, stunned. Maids ran out with buckets, wigs, and tears. The drivers, too. All the staff Vanessa planted were escorted like goats at a market. Mama turned to Naomi. Go and get ready. Naomi blinked. But I don't have anything good to wear. Mama hissed. So with all your chakra in this house, it's only that torn gown you have? Naomi nodded. They headed straight to Zena Luxe Boutique. Mama didn't let Naomi say a word. She just pointed. Give me this one, that shoe, that bag, add perfume, add sunglasses, add wig, add joy. Naomi stepped out 30 minutes later, looking like a junior queen. Her eyes were still wide, unsure if she was dreaming. Mama turned to her and smiled. Ready? Ready for what? To take back our life. At the company, Gasps, mouths open, phones falling, secretaries nearly fainting. Is that Mama Gloria? She's walking. She's alive? Mama didn't speak. She walked straight into the elevator, Naomi behind her. Her perfume entered before her body. They stepped into the boardroom. Henry was in his full chairman glory, legs crossed, coffee in hand, when he turned and saw his mother standing at the door with full chest and golden head tie. The coffee cup slipped from his hand and shattered. Mama! Mama didn't blink. You thought I died, Abi? Or you were praying for me to stay weak? Surprise! He stammered. Mama, wait! I can explain! She hissed. Save your breath. Call the board. Now! 30 minutes later, the boardroom was full. Every executive, every director, legal advisor, internal auditor, HR. Vanessa stood in the corner like a burnt plantain. Mama took the head seat. Naomi sat beside her. She looked at the faces one by one. First thing first, if any of you ungrateful lizards want to leave this company, talk now or forever hold your peace. No one? Good for you. Now let's proceed. This company belonged to my late son, the one with sense, Daniel. After he passed, I stepped in to protect his legacy. Then my second son here, this overfed disappointment, betrayed me, hijacked the business, bribed some of you overfed native fowls seated here today, locked me in a room to rot. Henry looked like a goat with wet fur. Mama banged the table. Well, guess what? God is not dead. He kept me alive. And not just that, she turned to Naomi. He returned to me what I thought I lost forever. This is Naomi, my granddaughter, Daniel's daughter, the rightful heiress of this empire. One director fainted. The legal advisor removed his glasses. Henry stood to speak. Mama raised her hand. One more lie from your mouth, and I will personally remove that suit you're wearing and beat you like village goat without owner. She sat back in her chair. The era of fake leadership is over. I'm back, and we are taking back everything. Naomi sat beside her, her hands shaking slightly, but her eyes full of fire. Mama squeezed her hand and smiled. My baby, welcome home. That evening, the air inside the mansion could slice through bone. Mama Gloria stood in the center of the living room, wearing her royal ankara with gold embroidery, jail tied like a battle crown. Naomi stood quietly by her side, still in shock at everything happening around her. Henry and Vanessa stood opposite them, nervous, fidgety, like two children caught stealing meat from the pot. Mama pointed at them slowly. You both have 5 minutes. Henry blinked. Mama, wait! You can't just... Mama snapped her fingers. Pack your load, Vanessa hissed. What are we supposed to do now, After everything we've built? Mama roared, her voice shaking the windows. Built what? Built what? She marched forward, picked up the nearest throw pillow and flung it at Vanessa's head. I gave you a whole company and you ran it like a pepper soup joint. You, Henry, you disappointed me. And you married this long-necked, flat-brained guinea fowl whose only talent is swallowing money she cannot make, Vanessa gasped. You dare insult me? Mama raised her hand. Vanessa, say one more word and I will beat you back to your father's compound in a wherry. I've been bedridden, but I've not forgotten how to slap nonsense. She clapped her hands. The mansion doors opened. 2 male servants stepped forward with their packed Ghana-must-go bags. Mama pointed. Out of my house, out of my life. Henry tried to kneel. Mama, please. She looked away. You're lucky my granddaughter is soft. If it was me alone, you people would be leaving here barefoot. The servants dropped their bags by the gate. As Henry and Vanessa walked out shamefully, one maid whispered to another, if disgrace was a person. Later that night, Naomi sat quietly in her new bedroom, her real bedroom. Plush white bed, fancy chandelier, books neatly arranged, her village photo in a silver frame on the bedside table. She stared at it long, holding her blanket like a scared child. Mama walked in. Naomi, you've been quiet. Naomi sniffed. Nana, is this really my life now? Mama walked over and sat beside her. Of course it is. Tears dropped from Naomi's eyes like rain from a leaking roof. But it still feels like I'm dreaming. I keep thinking someone will slap me and I'll wake up in the village again, and I'll still be that girl they called a witch. Mama froze. What did you say? They used to call me a witch, Nana. They said I killed my mother, that I brought bad luck. They beat me, starved me, said I came from the forest, that I wasn't even human. Silence. Then Mama stood up slowly, picked up her folded designer hand fan, and began fanning herself like a general preparing for war. They said you're what? A witch. Mama looked at her PA. Get the driver. We are going to the village. Early morning tomorrow. The next morning, the convoy stormed the village. Children ran. Market women froze. Chickens scattered. Mama stepped out first. Heel high, wrapper sharp, with Naomi beside her dressed in clean clothes, heels, and confidence. Her father Felix came out of the house and froze. His legs wobbled. Amaka, the wicked stepmother, came out next, chewing on garden egg, and spat it out in fear when she saw who it was. Mama didn't waste time. She marched up to her with thunder in her eyes. You, Amaka! May your mouth smell forever! How dare you call my granddaughter a witch? A witch? You think you've seen witch? You haven't met Lagos witches like me? Amaka stuttered. Mama, it was not me. Mama raised her fan and whacked her forehead. Toi! She is my granddaughter, a princess, not a dustbin girl. If not for her adopted mother, that kind woman, God rest her soul, that rescued her from the hands of death, she would have died. Then you came with your cockroach legs and treated her like dirt. You're very lucky. That kind late woman is the only reason I'm still standing still with Posh. If not, I would have beat you like a she-goat that has refused to reproduce. Nonsense, she turned to Felix, Naomi's useless father. You, cow in trousers. Your daughter begged you, and you turned your back? You are not a man. You are a sad shadow of one. Anyways, thank you for raising her and saving her. The whole compound was silent. Mama opened her gold handbag and pulled out bundles of cash. She dropped it on the ground with a loud thud. This is your final payment. Take it and don't ever call her family again. Naomi will never return here. Never. Then she turned to Naomi and held her hand. Let's go. We've wasted too much time with animals. Back in Lagos, Naomi's rise began like fire in dry grass. Mama enrolled her in school, top international academy. She hired private tutors to teach her business, finance, etiquette, public speaking. Naomi stopped walking with her head down. She walked like a queen now. People noticed. Mama took her to board meetings, introduced her as my granddaughter, the future CEO. People clapped. People whispered, "This girl is going far." Meanwhile, Henry and Vanessa were stuck in a rented bungalow on the outskirts of town. Their old friends blocked them. Former allies ignored their calls. Henry drank every night. Vanessa screamed every morning, "You ruined us. You're the one who brought bad luck. I lost everything because of you." Their shame became their companion. One afternoon, Naomi stood at the company's balcony overlooking the city. Her hair blew gently in the wind. She smiled. From witch to heiress, from slave to royalty, from dust to diamonds. And somewhere deep in her heart, a soft voice whispered, "Well done, Naomi. Welcome home." Thank you for watching. What do you think of this story? Let me know of your thoughts in the comment section below. Until I bring another intriguing story your way again, bye for now.